Looking at our familiar map of the United States, we often understand the big state differences of our own country, but forget or don't even know that there are state differences in other countries, like Germany. Do they even have states? Turns out they do, 16 of them. And just like the US states, each state has its own vibe, culture, economy, and even food. So let's take a look and see if we can get some perspective on how the German states are different from one another. If you're new here, welcome to Obscure Answers. Subscribe as I'll be making follow-up videos that look into state differences within countries all over the world. Oh, and by the way, the Germans call them Bundesländers. Let's go alphabetically, starting with Baden-Württemberg. Known for the Black Forest, home to the fairy tales of the Brothers Grimm, it's also home to some of Germany's most prestigious car manufacturers, like Mercedes-Benz and Porsche, both of which are based in its largest city and capital, Stuttgart, making Baden-Württemberg one of the wealthier German states. It's also known for a comparatively mild climate, a strong wine culture, and Heidelberg University, Germany's oldest university. Altogether, you could say it's somewhat like the California of Germany, but without a coast. Next, we have Bavaria, or as the Germans call it, Bayern. It's Germany's largest state by area and second largest by population. It's home to Munich, Oktoberfest, and just about every German stereotype Americans can think of. Beer halls, Lederhosen, the Alps. Not surprisingly, the highest point in all of Germany is here. It's the Zugspitze. The castle that inspired Disney is here. It's Neuschwanstein Castle. But Bavaria is more than just the stereotypes. It's an economic powerhouse. Companies like BMW, Allianz, Siemens, Adidas, and Puma are all based here. Bavaria is also an educational center, with top universities like Ludwig Maximilian University and the Technical University of Munich, often ranked among the best in Germany. With its size, influence, wealth, and a loud cultural pride, Bavaria is very much the Texas of Germany. Everything is Germany turned up to 11. Even the iconic soft pretzels you think of, that's a Bavarian thing. Then we have Berlin, which is a city-state like Washington, D.C. It's a very diverse, artsy, liberal city. Obviously, it's Germany's capital, but it's also Germany's largest city and a major cultural hub, with notable sites like Brandenburg Gate and the Berlin Wall Memorial. It's also home to Humboldt University, one of Germany's most prestigious institutions. And if you're hungry, Berlin is known for currywurst, which is an interesting sausage and ketchup dish. Just outside of Berlin, we have Brandenburg, which surrounds the city. It's mostly suburban and small towns. Think of it like the Maryland to Berlin's DC, but it doesn't have any big cities of its own like Baltimore or a coastline. Brandenburg is more quiet compared to the bustling capital, with smaller towns and history further out, like the Sanssouci Palace in Potsdam, which is its capital. Now we have Bremen. Like Berlin, this is one of the city-states, but vibes-wise, it's more like the Boston of Germany. A small but historic northern city, known for Beck's beer, a colder climate, maritime vibes, and a strong cultural identity. Notably, this is the smallest of Germany's states, both geographically and population-wise. After that, we have Hamburg, the last of the city-states. This might sound kind of crazy, but Hamburg is kind of like the Los Angeles of Germany. I know, but bear with me on this one. It's Germany's second largest city, home to the port of Hamburg, which is the largest port in all of Germany. Also, it's a global media and music hub. Der Spiegel is based here, as is Warner Music's Central Europe headquarters. Although Hamburg has a more distinct maritime culture when compared to LA, and of course the climate is very, very different. Hamburg is colder and rainier. That said, Hamburg is definitely one of the places that's on my must visits. Leave a comment, let me know which city or state is on the top of your list.
Moving on, we have Hesse. This might be the New York of Germany. Frankfurt is the skyscraper city. It's the city with the most skyscrapers in all of Germany. It's also the financial center of Germany, home to Lufthansa and the European Central Bank. It's a busy hustle and bustle kind of city. Not surprisingly, with Lufthansa here, Frankfurt Airport is the busiest airport in all of Germany, but the rest of Hesse is like upstate New York. Quieter, less urban. Frankfurt is the biggest city in the state by far, but outside of Frankfurt, they have some great natural beauty in the Taunus Mountains and smaller towns like Weisenbad.
Then we have Lower Saxony, known for car manufacturing, in particular Volkswagen, whose headquarters are in Wolfsburg, which I have to admit is a cool name. Volkswagen is also the largest private sector employer in the state. It's a colder climate with a notable North Sea coastline and the forest covered Harz Mountains, which makes it a particularly beautiful state. It also has a deep car culture, making this kind of like the Michigan of Germany. But it's not all rural. Hanover, its capital and biggest city, has a lot to see, like the Herrenhausen Gardens. Notably, this is the largest of the three Saxonies by population. Now we have another northern state, Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. This is a smaller state, third least in population after Bremen and Saarland, but it's much bigger than either of them geographically, which makes it pretty rural and sparsely populated. Known for its lakes, you might call this one the Minnesota of Germany. It has a tourism centered economy. Its capital, Schwerin, is known for the Schwerin Castle, which itself sits on an island in a lake. Next, we have North Rhine Westphalia. This is the most populous and economically influential state. Cities like Cologne, the largest, and Dusseldorf, the capital, are cultural and business hubs. There's a lot of cultural sites here. Both Cologne and the smaller city of Aachen have prominent historical cathedrals that are big with the tourists. Also, Cologne is known for its big Carnival celebration leading up to Ash Wednesday. On the corporate side, Deutsche Telekom is based here. I know what you're thinking. Where do you know that logo from? It's T-Mobile, which is actually a subsidiary company of Deutsche Telekom. So this might be like the New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia corridor of Germany. Developed, populous, very influential.
Rhineland-Palatinate. Well, we already have a California. This might be like the Napa Valley of Germany, known for its wine regions like Mosel and Palatinate, hence the name. No major big cities are here. Mainz, the largest city, is comparatively small, but regionally important, kind of like their Sacramento. And the food, well, they're known for having their own takes on regional dishes like liver dumplings. Just next door, we have Saarland, which is the smallest of the not city states. It's also quite hilly, known for its coal and steel history. It has a lot of French cultural influence since it sits right on the border. With natural beauty and an industrial past, this is kind of like the West Virginia or Appalachia of Germany.
If Saarland is the West Virginia of Germany, then Saxony is kind of like the Pennsylvania of Germany. It also has a historic steel region, but with larger cities like Dresden, the capital, and Leipzig, the largest, home to the stunning historical sites like Frankfurt Cathedral and the Dresden Zwinger. This makes it a much more populous state than Saarland. Then we have Saxony-Anhalt, the smallest of the three Saxonies, home to Wittenberg, where Martin Luther started the Reformation. Magdeburg, the capital and largest city, was a powerful medieval city, and that shows, as the city is known for its architecture. It's a historic but often overlooked state, kind of like the Ohio of Germany. Schleswig Holstein, the northernmost state, between the North and Baltic Seas, the only state with two coastlines. It has a strong maritime culture, a lot of Danish influence, and a colder coastal climate. Kiel, the largest city and the capital, is known for shipping and Kiel Week, which is a big international week of sailing races. It's home to the Kiel Canal, which cuts around Denmark, and Schleswig Holstein is also known for tourism with locals. Islands like Sylt are popular vacation spots, kind of like the Maine of Germany. Lastly, we have Thuringia, one of Germany's smaller and less economically influential states. Thuringia doesn't have any major cities. Its capital and largest city, Erfurt, doesn't even crack the top 30 in terms of population. But what it lacks in urban size, it makes up for in natural beauty. Nicknamed the Green Heart of Germany, it's known for its dense forests, hiking trails, and castles. Tucked into the hills, like the historic Wartburg Castle, where Martin Luther translated the Bible. With its rural nature and beautiful sights, it's kind of like the Wyoming of Germany. So there you have it. Germany's 16 states, or Bundesländers as they call them. Each one has its own unique flavor and history and culture. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and if you want to see state differences in other countries around the world, make sure to hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.